speaking of switching names, if Conor McGregor doesn't slow down, the BKFC is definitely going to have to switch their name because I don't know what the this guy's doing, but he is definitely bringing the company down since he's been around. What are your thoughts on Conor McGregor and the BKFC? Do you think he helps it, or do you think that this is a huge detriment towards the company?
Well, everybody kind of thought that when he came into this, he was going to be, oh my God, Conor McGregor. That's the kind of name and atmosphere and attitude that BKFC was looking for, right? The Mike Perry thing was one thing, and that's great because he is tailor made. And you can go back and watch some of our earlier episodes, you know what I mean, and realize when we're talking about Mike Perry, BKFC was built for a guy like Mike Perry. But when Conor McGregor comes over, he's got that thing that nobody else has. He's got that swagger. He's got that name value. He's got that celebrity status that you thought to yourself, holy shit, this is going to be the thing that, boom, zing, takes BKFC off to the moon.
Yeah.
And for a while there, you're like, yeah, this is happening. And then little tiny things start happening. First of all, with Mike Perry, right? Mike Perry, the face of the company, the guy that we said all of this is perfect for. He goes outside of there and goes into a boxing match with like gigantic gloves against Jake Paul, gets starched, right? And right away, Conor McGregor, not the official owners, none of those guys. Conor McGregor implements himself as a part owner and says, you're fired. Because you didn't do good in that, you're fired. I mean, if that's the mentality, Conor, then you should have been let go from the UFC a while ago. All right? If you lose, you become a loser, is what you're trying to say. And that's not the case. And that was just one little thing. And then it's all these little digs. Then fast forward to the most recent of times, BKFC ends up getting a big deal with DAZN. And DAZN, listen, I love DAZN for the stuff. They finally starting to come around, play enough football. They've got mixed martial arts. They've got a good series of boxing happening right there. It looks like they might be getting their act together a little bit. And so BKFC is like, we need a platform. Let's get on DAZN. It's perfect because we're not going to get on Netflix. We're not big enough for that. UFC is going to stalwart all of that stuff. You're not going to get any of those things. DAZN's perfect for you. They have their first event for DAZN, and all of a sudden, Conor's got beef. You should be out there celebrating what it is that you've just accomplished. But what does he do? He sends out a tweet right away, right? Little tough guy sends out a tweet and says, if you don't let our fighters talk after their wins, we're out of here. Like you're going to kibosh the entire DAZN deal over a production value thing. Listen, I think you're looking at the wrong thing. But then it got me thinking, is he really just trying to sabotage BKFC? This might be a wild conspiracy, but it might be a real thing. What do you think?
I'll entertain that enough for you to explain, but realistically, I don't think that's what's happening. I think Connor is under the impression now that he thinks any good tweet that he gets and has any response is the greatest tweet. So if it's something that's negative on the company, he doesn't care. It got more retweets and more acknowledgement and more, like I think he thinks he's doing them a favor by doing this stuff.
It's wild.
Realistically,
It's
to the
wild if
naked eye,
that's yeah, I can understand why you would think that because
it's
it's that
not.
whole any publicity is good publicity, but that's not the case, I don't think.
It's not. It's not.
It's not good for them,
You know
right?
why
Because they're
why it's really bad for BKFC in my opinion? The worst
please.
because it's already a borderline sport to begin with. Because
Mhm,
people are very scared to regulate that kind of fighting.
mhm.
It looks so gruesome. Even though a lot of BKFC, believe it or not, is safer than mixed martial arts as a whole, it looks a lot more dangerous. There's a lot more hand breaking and there's a lot more cuts on the face. So to the average human, they think that's horrible looking. Like we can't justify this thing. We don't want to put it on TV. It's not in a position where it can take hits like this.
Right.
It needs to keep its wheel squeaky clean until it gets to the dance because it's not at the dance yet. It's about there. It's buying the dress, but it hasn't arrived to the dance yet. And Connor is going to take that limo, that prom limo, and fucking drive it right into the lake before it even gets there.
Could you imagine if this happened during SEG days of the UFC, during Semaphore Entertainment Group, when they're trying to get a deal, and they've got guys like Senator John McCain saying this is human cockfighting, and everybody's trying to shoot this thing down, and they're trying to build this thing up, and they finally get to a point, and all of a sudden somebody comes along and says, hey, Viacom, screw you, we're out of here.
We wouldn't be doing this show because there would be no we'd only be talking about fucking pro wrestling.
It's wild to think that Conor is so, I don't want to say that he's out of touch, but I think that he's too in touch with himself and self-absorbed to understand that this kind of behavior is not good for a brand. Now, maybe this just popped into my head. Maybe Conor's got a little bit more CTE than we think.
I think he's a crackhead. He's actually smoking cans.
Really? You don't think that he's more of like an inhaler, or even the straight glass old dickety-doo? No.
I used to think he was just a cokehead, maybe a meth head, some Adderall, a couple Xanaxes. I thought he was maybe like a pharmacy guy. You just take whatever was in the suitcase for the day. Very much like, Hunter S. Thompson type vibe. I don't think it's that. I think this guy's literally smoking fucking rock.
Wow. All right. I mean, he very well, listen, all indications, and this is coming from a person who has done exactly that. Okay. I am no saint when I was younger. I've smoked out of a can.
Yeah, we both have.
Yeah.
So there you go. You find out both of the hosts of the law now are former fucking crackheads when they were kids.
Yeah.
We're really doing some justice to this brand. This episode.
Who cares?
Use that, you fucking weirdos. There's your ammo. Now you got the clip. The hosts.
Yeah.
Former crackheads.
Yeah, exactly. Not current, former.
No, I was never a crackhead. I just used to be like, oh, if you got a can, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
I just did anything back when I was a kid.
I picked up drugs off of the ground and took them when I was a kid. Okay?
Holy shit. But you lived in Vegas, so there was a good chance that was actually going to hit right.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like, you roll the dice.
Can I ask what it was?
You can.
You going to tell me?
I don't know.
Oh no! It was one. What was the buzz like, though? Do you remember the buzz?
It was like a methy kind of buzz, because I said to myself, this bottle that I found. Quick side note, and we're going to get past this very quickly. This bottle that I found didn't have like pharmaceutical pills in it. It had like gel caps with stuff stuffed in it. So when you open those things up and you're like, well, let's find out the best way to do these, as you snort it.
Okay, so if you want to hear more of this story and in details, you can follow us over on youtube.com/@TIDTalk, where we do a show with no regards and
none. And it's fun.
No regards.
But the reason that I say this is, don't come at me. Don't slide into the DMs. Don't leave comments like we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah,
we come from a place where this has actually happened to us. We've been part of that life. We know the signs. We see the signs. We're trying to tell you otherwise. All right?
Yeah.
Now.
And Conor, realistically, there's only a couple more years of this. I think this is 2025, and I said it on the show previously. I think this is the year he enters rehab. Whether he puts himself there or his team puts himself there, I think this is the year he cleans the fuck up. And I hope I'm right, because if not, it's probably the year he ODs.
I think you are spot on, Brady. I think that is exactly what's going to end up happening. And I think that it would be fantastic, not only for him, for his brand, but also for mixed martial arts and even boxing, if he does do exactly that, gets himself cleaned up and gets his life back in order. That would be the most amazing story of his life, coming from absolutely nothing to the absolute top of the mountain, to falling off of a cliff, to building himself back up again. That's the perfect story.